Welcome to Reality Rewire, presented by the Wisdom Network. We're here to explore the tools, practices, and healing modalities that create real transformation from the inside out. Today's conversation is one that you're definitely going to want to hear. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Reality Rewire, presented by the Wisdom Network. I'm Michelle, here with my co-host Jay, and today we are getting into something that I know is going to hit home for a lot of you. We're talking about why you cannot stop overthinking at night, and more specifically, what your mind is actually doing when it won't let you rest.
And I already know people are going to feel seen by this one. Because how many of us have laid down, ready to sleep, and then our brain just decides it's time to review every awkward conversation from the last decade?
Every single one. And listen, we laugh about it, but this is actually a really significant thing that's happening because what most people don't realize is that nighttime overthinking is not a malfunction. Your mind is not just being chaotic for no reason. It is trying to do something for you.
That's a reframe right there. Because I think most people feel like something is wrong with them when they can't turn their brain off, like they're broken somehow, like they just can't relax.
Exactly. And that shame makes it worse. But here's the thing. The overthinking, the looping thoughts, the replaying of conversations, that's your nervous system and your mind working together to try to protect you from something that hasn't been felt yet. And that's the key word, felt.
So break that down for us. What do you mean by something that hasn't been felt yet?
So throughout the day, we are moving. We are busy. We are distracted. We have tasks. We have responsibilities. And we are constantly pushed forward by the momentum of life. And because of that, a lot of emotions that come up during the day, they don't get fully processed. We don't sit with them. We push through. We keep going.
Right. You got to answer the email. You got to handle the kids. You got to get to the meeting. There's no space to actually feel what you're feeling in real time.
None. So those emotions, they don't disappear. They get stored in your body and your nervous system. And then at night, when the noise stops and there's nothing to distract you, your mind finally has the space to try to deal with them. But because you haven't been taught how to actually process emotions, the mind does what it knows how to do, which is think. It tries to think its way through a feeling.
And that's the trap. You can't think your way out of a feeling. You've said that before, and it really stuck with me.
You genuinely cannot. And this is where people get stuck in these loops. Because the mind is circling around the emotion, trying to analyze it, trying to make sense of it, trying to find a solution, but it's working with the wrong tool. You can't logic away grief. You can't strategize your way out of fear. You have to feel it.
So when we're lying there thinking about that thing our coworker said, or replaying a conversation with our partner, or worrying about money at 2 a.m, what's actually underneath that?
Almost always it's one of a few core emotions. Fear, grief, shame, anger that was never expressed. And here's the thing, the thought your mind presents to you is kind of like a wrapper. It's the mind's way of making the emotion feel more manageable, more concrete. Because your mind would rather you worry about a specific situation than sit with a formless, overwhelming feeling.
That's deep. So the thought is actually covering for the feeling. Like the mind is almost doing you a favor by giving you something specific to focus on.
Exactly. It's a protection mechanism. And it made sense at some point. Maybe you grew up in an environment where showing emotion wasn't safe. Maybe you learned early on that you had to hold it together, that feelings made people uncomfortable, that you had to be strong. So your mind learned to keep those emotions managed, contained, stored away.
And now you're an adult and the lights are off and the protection doesn't know when to clock out.
That's it right there. The protection is still running the program. And the thing is, it's working perfectly. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, but you've outgrown the need for it in the same way, and your body, your nervous system, is ready to let go of some of that weight.
So how do people start to recognize what the actual emotion is? Because I feel like most people don't even know where to start with that.
So the first thing is to stop trying to solve the thought and get curious about the feeling underneath it. Next time you catch yourself in that loop, instead of following the thought, pause and ask yourself, if I wasn't thinking about this situation right now, what would I be feeling? And just notice what comes up in your body. A tightness in your chest, a heaviness, a hollow feeling in your stomach.
So you're dropping out of your head and into your body. You're actually going to where the emotion lives.
Yes, because emotions are not mental events. They are physical experiences that the mind then tries to make meaning of. So when you go back into the body, you're meeting the emotion where it actually is.
I love that. And I think for a lot of people, especially those of us who grew up being told to be strong, to not be too emotional, to keep it moving, that's genuinely unfamiliar territory. Going inward like that can feel strange or even scary.
It absolutely can. And I want to honor that because a lot of us, particularly in Black families and communities, were raised in survival mode. You didn't have the luxury of processing your feelings. You had to function, and that was real, that was necessary. But now we're in a different season, and we have to learn a new way of being with ourselves.
For real, though, like our grandparents were just trying to survive, and they passed down so much strength. But some of what got passed down was also the unexpressed emotion, the stuff nobody ever talked about.
And it lives in our bodies, it lives in our nervous systems, and it shows up at 2 in the morning when we're finally still. So this is actually ancestral work too, in a real way. When you learn to process your own emotions, you're doing something that maybe nobody in your lineage had the safety or the tools to do.
That hits different. Okay, so let's give people some practical things they can actually do tonight if they're in that loop and they want to try something different.
So the first thing is to breathe slowly and deliberately before you try to do anything else. A long exhale, longer than your inhale, signals your nervous system that you're safe. That is not just a nice idea, that is physiology. Your exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It tells your body you can come down now.
So breathe out longer than you breathe in. Simple but real.
Simple and real. Second thing is to put one hand on your chest and one on your belly and just feel yourself. Not fix yourself, not analyze yourself, just feel. Be with the physical sensations without trying to change them. That presence is itself healing.
That's the thing people don't know. Just being present with it without trying to fix it actually does something.
Because what happens is, when emotion finally gets witnessed, when it gets felt and not run from, it moves. Emotions are energy in motion. They are meant to move through you, not live in you permanently. They only get stuck when we resist them.
So we stop fighting the feeling. We stop trying to think our way out of it. We breathe, we drop into the body, we witness what's there.
And the third thing is, if a specific thought keeps coming up, write it down. Not to solve it, just to get it out of your head and onto paper. Tell your mind, I see this, I'm not ignoring it, we'll deal with it tomorrow. And often your mind will actually accept that and let you rest.
That's such a good one. Your mind is trying to make sure you don't forget. And sometimes just acknowledging it is enough.
That's the work right there. And look, some of this is deep enough that you genuinely can't move through it alone, especially if the emotions are rooted in old trauma and childhood wounds and things that have been stored for years. That's where real support makes all the difference.
And that's exactly what the Wisdom Network is there for. If you feel like this conversation opened something up and you want to go deeper with someone who really knows this work, the Wisdom Network has healers, coaches, and hypnotherapists who are ready to meet you exactly where you are. Head to thewisdomnetwork.net and connect with someone who can walk this with you.
Because you deserve more than just white-knuckling your way through restless nights. You deserve to actually heal, to feel at peace in your own body, to lay your head down and rest. That is available to you.
It really is. Thank you all for tuning in to Reality Rewire. This one felt important. Take care of yourselves out there.
Keep rewiring.
And if you are ready to stop doing this alone, we have an incredible community of healers, spiritual life coaches, and hypnotherapists at the Wisdom Network who are ready to meet you exactly where you are and take you somewhere completely new. That's right. Head over to thewisdomnetwork.net, find your practitioner, and take that powerful leap forward. We'll see you in the next episode.